Hello, muchachos. Good to be back. I was sick for like a week and a half. Week. It was just a common cold, though it didn't feel very common. It felt like I got rocked. So when I was just kind of in bed, I was just watching TV. I always go out every time I'm sick. I always go out kicking and screaming. I can never accept it right away that I have to be sick for who knows how long. It would just stop the momentum that I'm building, and I just hate it every time. But eventually, I always get sick enough. I get fatigue enough. I get over there, and then I accept it. And once I accept it, I say, okay, I'm just sick. And this time, I realized something very interesting. Every time I'm sick, I always get some lesson or some revelation or some silver lining. This time, I realized, I said, okay, well, what is the job of a sick person? Now, mind you, I only had a common cold, flu, whatever situation I had. This is not a chronic sickness. This is not a disease I had. This is me temporarily for a week and a half playing the role of a sick person. And what's intriguing about, I think, the human being is how quickly they adjust into their new situation. Whether it be someone who's becoming a new parent, how quickly they adapt into that new role, a new job, a new location. We adapt really, really well to that. And no different than having my life with all these things that I have here and then having to lay in a bed for a week and a half. I said, well, I must accept that my new role is just to be sick for a week. So, something that every bodybuilder has to do, and I feel that this kind of ties into something that a lot of people can relate to, is that you have to sort of take up a pledge before you become a bodybuilder or a powerlifter or anything that requires 24 hours around the clock work with diet and nutrition and vision and all those things. You take up a pledge that I'm a bodybuilder, right? You have to see your life through the lens of bodybuilding, no different than if I was sick for 24 hours a day. I have to see my life through the lens of a sick person. That's sort of the role that I have to take on. Um, Bodybuilders have to do the same. I love being a bodybuilder. I love the lifestyle of a bodybuilder, but I have seen a few issues with taking up this role and taking it too close to the heart. And you have to give this role a bit of space, and you have to live moderately with this role. And I think one of the best ways we can do that is by avoiding one thing and becoming another. The thing to avoid is to have the role become your identity, as in I am this, I identify with this. No different than if I were sick, right? And I said I'm taking up sickness as my identity, right? This is called Munchausen's disease, I believe they call it. And I say I'm a sick person, I'm sick, I like to be sick, I'm going to will myself into being sick. And you almost self-sabotage yourself so that no matter what comes at you in life, no matter what opportunities come your way, or no matter what happens, you've made a stern decision that I'm a sick person and this is the role I'm going to play. And the same thing can happen for a bodybuilder. I've been coaching for a very long time now, 13 years, 15 years, I have no clue, a long time. And one of the biggest issues that I see where people drop off with their bodybuilding, why people fall off with their bodybuilding, is because they identify too closely to the role. One of my favorite philosophers, Slavoj Zizek, says, when you over-identify with something, you self-destruct, right? And I think what he means by that is that you almost ruin the role, you ruin the job, you ruin being a bodybuilder. You fall off and you never recover again, and you become one of those people who says, back in the day I used to so and so and so and so and so. And I think this happens because they can self-destruct by over-identifying with the role. Now, okay, there's two streams to role playing. Let's say as a bodybuilder, try to live this lifestyle as a bodybuilder. The one way that you self-destruct is by identifying with the role, saying, here's my role identity. And the one way that you sustain, that you can actually, I think, last indefinitely, is by saying, I'm taking up the functional role of being a bodybuilder. Now, these two are very similar, but they only have one word difference. I'll start with the latter. To take up a role identity is a very tricky thing. We can think of a role identity. Think of let's say a parent, right? Let's say someone is 40 years old. and they have parents, lovely parents, but their parents still sort of berate them, still sort of treat them like a child, still talk down to them like they're not an adult. Still, the parent still thinks, I know what's best for you, I know what's best for my child. And what this creates is sort of a tension, let's say, in the relationship where the role that the parent is playing is not one that's up to date with the actual kid who's now 40 years old. The role is now inauthentic that the parent plays, and that inauthenticity can create resentment to the parent and to the child in between them. It would make a lot more sense if the parent said, I see who you are today, I respect who you are today, you're 40 years old, I'm going to treat you as that. But these parents have a hard time giving up the role that they have identified with. Now, that means that since they've identified with a certain gusto, they no longer have the function of functionally getting it done, of successfully getting it done, of actually being here, being now, being present. The universe is saying, this is the work I need for you to do today, so handle this work today. They no longer are living in real time, real function. They're only living in a fantasy world that they've now created. And this is the biggest reason why I see people drop out and burn out of bodybuilding, whether you're coaching or whether you've done it for a while. So the solution for this, I think the biggest solution for this is to give yourself, how do I say it? Freshness, right? In the Bible, they call it daily bread. One thing that I've been doing since I've been back on this bodybuilding journey to make sure that I stay out of role identity is I wake up every day, and you can do this however you like to do it. But I wake up every day and I pray and I say, Lord God, what do I need to do today? Every day I wake up and it's fresh. Every day I wake up in whatever the sort of daily bread, the daily tool, the daily knowledge, the daily task that I need to do, I get done. I do it unattached, right? I think in the past, I've done bodybuilding shows and I've done poorly only in the times when I said, I'm a pro bodybuilder, this is what I do, this is the routine, this is how I do it. And I live my role sort of lazily and sort of as a know-it-all. And I think that I have all the definitions known. This universe that we live in is a rolling universe. It's constantly changing. Volcanoes are coming up, things are folding in, coming out, new things are being created, things are still evolving. We live in an expanding universe. It's still on the move. This universe has no role that's permanent. This universe has no role that's a permanent structure. If you are going to create in your mind a perception of your bodybuilding, of your lifting, or whatever it is you do that has a lack of freshness and has a end terminated role that you've defined that says this is it, this is what I do, end story, you're going to find yourself somehow quickly being into a resentful relationship with the thing that you're doing, and it's no longer going to feel authentic. You'll start going to the gym and it won't feel as motivated. It'll start going to the gym and it won't feel as exciting. The reason is because there's new shit for you to be doing all the time. There's new ideas, there's new people for you to listen to, there's new ways to think, there's new ways to move, there's new ways to try movements. The depth to this method is endless. Skeletal muscle, it may be the most, it is actually the most dynamic organ in the human body. We get to have fun with that, right? There's endless depth to this, whether it be from endurance, force, strength, speed, whatever it is you want to call it. Muscle can do it all, right? On a nutritional end, gosh, it's endless expansive. You'll spend a lifetime trying to just see that within your body. But if you know that this is what I do, this is how I train, this is how it works, and you're never open to expanding, well, now you're just playing a role, right? The functional role that you need to be playing is, what new tool do I need? What do I need to redefine? What do I need to resharpen? If you've been training and you've been stale and you've been feeling like I fell off and I can't get back on, or I'm just having a hard time being motivated, it's possibly because of the mental definition and sort of barricades that you've put on yourself as a bodybuilder. You've said, this is what I have to do, this is what I must do, and you've limited yourself to a self-created prison, and no one likes to feel enslaved in a role. People want to feel excited in a role. And the only way that you're going to be excited is to wake up every day like a student and say to your God, whoever it is, even if it's no God, say, what do I need to do to get down today? What's the function? What's the new news? What's the new thing, right? In this universe of newness and creation and new shit happening all the time, what function do I actually have to fulfill in this role? As opposed to waking up, being a know-it-all and just saying, here's what I do, here's what I got to do, and here's how we've done it, and here's how we've always done it. Very quickly you're going to be like that child who's resentful to their parent because they have an inauthentic relationship, and then for the sake of appearances we all just sort of keep it up. And so many bodybuilders are doing this. I know this because I'm speaking from experience. I've done a show where I've rolled up and I said, this is what we do. And got my ass whooped. But in this new phase, I've realized very quickly that if you're going to play this role and play a 24-hour role, you've got to stay fresh and you've got to look for the function of the role daily. What is the new news? What is the purpose of this role? How do I do it differently? How do I do it better? Every day. And that can last you a summation of a lifetime. It really can. But the second you start getting comfortable, saying these are the leggings I wear, this is the shirt I wear, this is the routine I do, this is what RPE 9 feels like, and the second you start knowing everything, you've identified with the role. And that's one big inauthentic prison. You'll never sustain and you'll never make it. And it's the number one reason why I lose clients, why I see people who used to do this method when I was a kid with me drop out and they never do it again. It got boring. Luckily for you, there's always something new to do and there's always something new to find. But I would have the suspicion that that structure of behavior, of role identity setting, will chase you down in your life in whatever you do. And no matter what you do, you've got to keep it fresh. Whether it be a relationship or a marriage, whether it be just lifting weights, man. Whatever it is. No roles. No roles. Play no fucking roles at all. Bruce Lee said, be like water. Be on your toes. Jesus said, be on watch, right? Stay limber, stay lean, stay light. Always be on watch for new, fresh tools, new daily bread. Not changing up what works, right? But just never getting yourself so indoctrinated in the dogma of I know it allness. That is the guaranteed one-way ticket to make you lose this thing that you once loved and you had passion and somewhat, if you're like me, borderline romance to it, right? Just an undying love. It can die as soon as you get stale and stiff in that role. So, okay, that's it for me. If you liked the video, please like the video. I was really, when I was sick in bed for just that week and a half, like I said, I was just playing that temporary role. In my mind, I was thinking like, I forgot I even had a YouTube. I forgot I even had people who like these. So coming back to my senses, it's nice seeing like, oh, there's conversations on these waiting for me. And I understand what's going on in these videos. They're not like the most popular. I understand. I'm very aware. So for those who are watching this, I'm making it for that reason. I really missed the days when the internet was just good conversation, and that's why I'm doing this. So, okay. Of course, I have to talk about coaching. A lot of these topics that I talk about, they come from my clients. I really believe that you have to have this, the qualitative portion, the heart of it, the emotional intelligence portion, mixed with all the data and all those things that I do to really make my athletes progress well and move forward. So, okay, that's all from me, muchachos. Thank you. I'm glad to be back. Glad to be feeling much better. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you. Thank you for watching as always.